Okay. What's going on, everybody? My name is Mang. Welcome back to Solo Roll Mangging. I hope someday that I'll be back to just normal roll manging, where I play with a group of people. But for now, we've got the solo stuff, and it's very interesting in its own way. So again, before we get into the actual session, I'd like to talk about this system that I'm developing, Shadows of Adventure. There hasn't been that many actual changes mechanically, just kind of been redesigning some stuff with the classes and things, but not too much mechanically different now. It's mostly kind of set. I'm looking at other RPGs, seeing if I want to poach any more ideas or anything like that. I thought about taking the escalation die mechanic from 13th Age, but one thing that this system and Shadow of the Demon Lord in general really tries to avoid is any sort of just like numerical bonuses to rolls. Pretty much everything is done through the boon or bane system. You don't deal with like +2 to the roll or +4, -2 if you have the, which was really a big problem plaguing like 4th edition D&D and D&D in general. And so 13th Age definitely still has numerical bonuses, and the escalation die is kind of part of that, where as the combat drags on, the escalation die number increases, and that applies to player attack rolls, so they get, an escalating bonus to their attack rolls as combat goes on, in an effort to sort of hasten the end of it. I think it's a really good idea, but I don't think it's something that fits Shadows of Adventure at the moment. I'd have to do a big redesign. And I think, there is an idea perhaps of scrapping boons and banes and going to something more modular. I don't know. That's the thing. There's no perfect RPG. There's no one RPG that just fits everybody's bill and just does everything correctly. It's like flavors of ice cream. There's no one perfect flavor of ice cream. I mean, there is. It's called Blue Moon, and it only exists in Wisconsin. But anyways, so I don't know. For now, this is the game. I did codify frightening and horrifying a little bit better now that we've scrapped insanity. So now when you encounter a frightening creature, you have to make a will challenge roll. If you see 4 or more frightening creatures, you make it with 1 bane. If you fail, you become frightened for 1d3 rounds. If you are already frightened, you instead gain 1 stress. Very similar to the original rules, just changing insanity to stress. Insanity is heftier than stress, so 1 stress is not really a big penalty, but 1 insanity also was not ever that big of a penalty either. Horrifying creature, will challenge roll, same thing, but you're rolling to avoid gaining 1d3 stress, or if you're frightened, you get 1d6 stress. And then I kept the same thing. Horrifying creatures, always you have a bane when you're rolling against them for attacks. Nothing else really going on. I'm working on filling out all the stuff for injuries. I have to change it a little bit. Injuries is an optional rule for Demon Lord that occurs when you become incapacitated or injured, which is half health. And I don't really want to track half health and do all that. So it's just incapacitated. You have a chance to be actually injured. a pretty decent chance, especially at level 1. So I have to change some stuff because it doesn't make sense if you're not rolling when you're injured. Then the class redesign, the sheet redesign. This is now the third redesign. I basically, what I wanted to do was I wanted to add advanced abilities. So I wanted to add some abilities that you could only take for a class once you hit level 5 in that class. And then you had access to their advanced abilities. Because that lets me then kind of expand the design space. I can put in some more powerful abilities that I know cannot be taken at level 1, 2, 3, or 4, you know. So I can make them a bit more powerful to compensate. And also lets me drill down a bit more into the sort of class identity with the advanced abilities. You know, by and large, I really tried to make the advanced abilities stuff that no other class has. Whereas a lot of basic abilities, classes share a bunch of them. A lot of classes have Shield Master, Dodge, Fast Attack, Weapon Training, Combat Prowess, stuff like that. I mean, a lot of classes share that. But advanced, yeah, it's pretty unique to that class. But, you know, I was already running out of room on the 1-page sheet that I was doing. So I knew I had to expand it 2 pages, and then as part of that, I don't have that much to fill. So most of it just got filled up with artwork. And then I put in I'm putting in this text kind of flavorful description of the class and what they kind of are good at and stuff. So, you know, I've got about, you know, like half of them done or something like that. The assassin. And some of this is just art off of ArtStation. Other stuff is just AI art. Whatever I felt looked best. The Bard. Yeah, I mean, I think it looks good. Obviously, tremendous waste of page space. I don't think even I mean, I don't know what D&D 5th edition does, actually. But it's probably not this wasteful. But that's alright. So yeah. There's all that stuff. So here's Malkalon's class, the wizard. Pretty good. And for advanced abilities for the wizard, we've got Magical Savant. You can immediately learn 2 spells from domains he has learned up to ranks of your level. So an extra couple spells, immediate level 5. I mean, the wizard is already chock full of spells with the grimoire. I mean, if you did nothing, like all you cared about was like grabbing new domains and spells as much as possible, I feel like at level 10, God, you would know a lot of spells. Let's see, you'd get 9 spells from leveling up, you get 10 from grimoire. Assuming you grabbed, I don't know if you actually can take that many domains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different domains you could have without multi-glassing. So 9 times 3 is 27. So 30, 37, 46 plus Magical Savant, 48. I think that's the max you probably could have, 48 spells, which is a fuck ton of spells that are all prepared, you know, like you can cast any of them at any point during the day. It's an absurd amount. But you'd really have to, yeah. But that's part of the issue, actually, is like, I debated most of his basic abilities are just different domains of magic. And so he's kind of almost forced a little bit to just go into different domains. Not necessarily. You could just take, like, air magic and then spell focus, spell expertise, counter spell, practice proficiency, yeah, magical savant, unravel magic, you know. So I guess not necessarily. I think it's probably okay. Because most of his other abilities are pretty good. So anyway, the magical savant, unravel magic as an encounter ability. Basically, you can just use an intellect challenge roll to end any effect created by a spell you did not cast. Any sort of magical effect, you could just end it. If the spell is of a rank higher than your class level, you make the roll with 1 bane. I think probably an actual rulebook would be a lot more careful with the wording here and actually specifically say, like, oh, you can't do, like, high-level relics or artifacts or blah, 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 but whatever. That's the ability. Arcane Power, in addition to letting you charge a spell and empower a spell, you now can maximize a spell for quadruple the stress cost. How often is that going to be useful? I don't know. It's probably pretty insane. But at that level, I mean, you're going to have a decent amount of health. Maximizing, say, level 1 unerring darts. Shooting out 20 darts that automatically hit and do 20 damage. It's not that bad. That's not that bad of a turn. Reclaimed energy. Every time you cast a spell, you get to roll a d6, and on a 6, you regain the stress you took when casting the spell. I mean, for efficiency's sakes, that's by far, like, the most efficient option you can pick. It's really good. And then Swift Cast, as an encounter ability, lets you cast a spell as a triggered action, gaining 1 boon on the roll. So there you go. There's only 5 advanced abilities, I'm aware. So, you know, a character that hits level 5 and then wants to take only advanced abilities from that point will basically always be the same kind of character. But I think that's, I don't know, it's probably a little unlikely for that to occur. Hard to say. I mean, yeah, there probably should be more, and there should be, like, a lot more basic abilities as well, but at a certain point, you gotta kind of curb it. Okay, then I think that's about all I have to say about that stuff. So we should get back to it. Yes. So here we have the situation in the manse. So this was, I got a map now. This is a free map from Tom Kartos. You can just grab it off his Patreon. And I figured that this is sort of the, somewhat of the main... This isn't the lobby that we're in now. This is kind of like the I don't know what you'd call this area, the living room. But this was an area I figured that was big enough for the kind of brawl that we had. It's a little tight. It's a little tight. And this map does not have stairs going down. It has stairs going up for another part of the map. We're just going to say that this is... these are the stairs going down. And while the place is probably 2 stories, the second floor is kind of just like demolished and caved in and stuff like that. So this is the manse. So again, as a recap of last time, you know, we convinced the guy, Garando, to send another expeditionary force to the manse to try and recover valuables or whatnot. And we convinced the guy to hire us to go with, which I think turns out was a good idea. These guys would be in worse shape, for sure, if it wasn't for me being here and my minefield, which has certainly been the most beneficial spell so far. I'm gonna remember right now to recast Arcane Armor, just so we're all clear. Arcane Armor is on. And so we got here, we out front, we saw the bodies of the previous guys being slowly eaten by larvae, and we mopped them up, and then we came in here, and we must have poked through here into this big room, and then we got bombarded by the main force, or a big force, of hellbugs. And through good positioning and spell use, all that, we didn't lose anybody. It's pretty good. So, Malkalon has taken 5 damage and 2 stress. So, you know, he's not in tip-top shape. That leaves us 10 health as a wiggle room. Mold, earth, and stone. I have to remember that I can cast that. We can manipulate a 20-foot cube of earth or stone and reshape it however we want. But, you know, we do have to, we have to touch it. We actually have to physically touch it to reshape it. Okay. So, you know, I think we were told or something to check out the basement, to make sure that we get to the basement and examine it and all that. But we don't know the layout of the house. So we're gonna have to just poke around. And I guess then, we're going to just explore this manse and probably encounter some more hellbugs, I would guess. Oh, there actually are stairs going down. Okay, never mind. We're good. There's the stairs going down. Okay, well, I'm not gonna lead, certainly, so let's get one of the burly men full health. And we'll stack up on the door. Just kind of be in there. Okay, so he's going to open the door. We all have our weapons ready, and what do we see? Well, it's pretty much like, do we find bugs or do we not find bugs? That's basically the determination we need to make. So, we could just roll a deterministic, sort of a 50-50, not quite, but pretty much 50-50. But yeah, let's just do that. 10, strong yes. Okay, so there are bugs in here. They didn't come out before, but they're here now. So let's I need a bigger bug. Like I need a bug that like was too big to like fit through these doorways or something like that, and that's why it didn't come out. So I want a bigger bug, like a size 2. So I guess let's make it up. Let's go back to the drawing board, and make a new bug. And we could just take any of the other ones. We could take a boom bug and just size it up, you know, and bump up all its stats and just, yeah, there's a boom bug. We could do that, but let's make something a bit more interesting. What's another kind of loathsome bug that people don't like? Not an ant, though. Something other than an ant. I think let's do the ladybug. Let's do the hell ladybug. Lady hellbug. Lady hellbug. That's good. Okay. So, we're going to go back to the animal stats. So we're going to go use the baseline for the large animal. So this will be difficulty 25, size 2, perception 12, which is usually my baseline anyways. Defense of 12. So it's not really hard to hit. Not especially hard to hit. It just has a lot of health and is kind of dangerous. Strength 15, agility 11, intellect 6, will 11. Speed will be 30. And then its baseline attack, let's say it's just a slam sort of move. +5 with 1 boon for 3d6 damage. Okay, so that, I mean, that's very basic, and you could just throw that in and call it a day and be done with it, but it's not very interesting, it's not very evocative. So we need something more unique to the fact that it's a ladybug. And I don't really know that much about ladybugs, actually. I don't know what makes them unique. In the context... I don't know if anyone has ever made a D&D monster based around a ladybug. It's probably not too common. Is it good to have ladybugs around? No? They're called ladybirds in the United Kingdom. They're carnivorous predators. Damn. Promiscuous breeders. I'm looking at its Wikipedia page, like I'm gonna find like some super abilities that it has. You can just shoot venom or something. I mean, it's a hell mutated bug. I mean, we could do whatever we want with it. It doesn't have to adhere to anything. But see, I would say that I want this to be more like an armored kind of bug, like with a big hard shell. That's more what I'm thinking. So I guess maybe not a ladybug. Although it could be. I mean, who's to say? Oh, here you go. Hold on. Hold on now. So they're toxic. And listen to it. When disturbed, ladybugs further defend themselves with reflex bleeding, exuding drops from their tibiofemoral joints, effectively presenting predators with a sample of their toxic and bitter body fluid. Predator-deterring poisons are particularly important for the immobile pupa. Alright, so now we've got something cooking now. So let's change this. Let's go on the other end of the spectrum. Let's go like defense 16, health 30. And let's keep the slam. I'm okay with that. But yeah, we want it to be able to shoot out some toxic blood out of its knees. So I guess we give it a ranged attack or something. Toxic blood. We'll stick with the, let's go +5. Well, it's either you target, like, say, agility, you know, you target an attribute, or you have the target roll a challenge roll. It's one of the two. You know, like a dragon using its breath attack. That's like usually a challenge roll. So I guess we could use the same principle. We could say, Lady Hellbug shoots out toxic blood in a 20-foot cone. Targets within the cone must succeed on an agility challenge roll or take, let's see, 2d6 damage, becoming poisoned for 1 round. Targets that succeed take half damage instead. So, I mean, that's the very basic sort of template for a breath attack, essentially. This is just it shooting toxic blood out of its knees, which is, you know, evocative and unique enough to the Lady Hellbug. Then, so we've got the basic melee attack, we got its special attack. We could say that once used, this cannot be used again for 1 round. So it can't just spam toxic blood, because that would be kind of ridiculous. It would probably kill itself. You still probably prefer to have one sort of passive effect. Something. Or what I'm thinking, actually. Okay, here's an idea. Instead of a passive effect, we do like I want it to be able to like flash open its wings, kind of, in just like a defensive maneuver to like clear the area around it. So it just like pops out its wings real quick, but then that lowers its defense for a round or something. That's what I'm thinking. So, what do we want to call it? Wing burst? I don't know. Let's have this one be an actual attack roll. So we'll do +5 with 1 boon against all creatures within, I mean, technically reach, because it's size 2, but we'll put within 10 feet. And we'll have this do 2d6 damage, and must succeed on a... probably also an agility, I would think. I mean, I guess you could make the argument for strength of just like holding your ground. Yeah, we'll differ it up. On a strength challenge roll, or be knocked back, 1d6 times 5 feet, which could be pretty far. 30 feet back, maybe. You really just get clobbered. Usually you will collide with something, though, and take more damage. Okay, there you go. There's our Lady Hellbug. Is it the most brilliant creature ever devised? No. Is it okay? Maybe. Probably. Oh, also, Lady Hellbug suffers -2 defense for 1 round after using. Okay. And then you would of course want to hint that to your players, like, oh, its wings are up now, its shell, you know, it's kind of exposed now. And then they might want to rush in. So, you know, it knocks them back, but leaves itself exposed. Okay. So, we need to get a ladybug, a couple of them, I think. We can go with this centipede. Probably works. I know I'm not going to find an actual ladybug. Even though it would be nice. Use this. And this is size 2, so 2 by 2. We'll put one there. We'll put one over here. And that would probably be enough. I mean, that's a 50-point fight. But I think we're a little bit more powerful than the baseline, so we want to throw in some other stuff. Let's throw in some... I could throw in some larvae, but I wanted this to be a tighter fight. So let's just throw in some hook scuttlers. Not too many. Let's say 4 hook scuttlers. That are just kind of scattered around the room a little bit. Okay. There is our situation. So, obviously, if a centipede or if a ladybug kind of moves up and toxic bloods this corridor, like, we're all getting hit with it. Whereas if we get in there, you know, it might still use toxic blood, but it'll probably hit something else as well. So someone's got to get in there and just do it up. So I'm gonna we're gonna have this guy go first. Fast turn. He's going to charge. So again, I changed the charge from Shadow the Demon Lord. So my charge is I want to say similar to 4th edition charge. Yeah, okay, so the 4th edition charge was each square of movement must bring the character closer to the target, and the movement must end at least 2 squares from the character's starting position. And then you performed an attack, a basic attack, and you actually got a bonus on the attack roll. But the thing is, like, you didn't really want to ever do a melee basic attack, so it was kind of a shittier turn because of that. But, yeah, so my charge is you have to move at least 3 squares on your turn, and then at the end, you can make an attack with a Bane on the attack roll. And you get a Bane on all rolls until the end of the round. So this guy is going to go 1, 2, 3. And he's going to target this hook scuttler. Now the hook scuttler specifically says when it moves on its turn and comes within reach of a creature. Oh, but the second part, the way that I worded this, whenever a creature within reach of the hook scuttler moves, it takes 1 damage until it is out of reach. I will admit that that's kind of poor phrasing, but the way that it would be is that 1 movement there, I was within his reach and I moved, so I take 1 damage. We will abide by that for now. These are vicious little things, just balls of hooks. Okay, but then he gets to make his attack, and he gets a Bane on the roll. And I believe we were using stats for brigands. So basically just means he's rolling +3 straight up. He got a 14. That's definitely going to be a hit. 1d6 +2. 4 damage to this thing. And this thing has 10 health. So, not great. Okay, this guy could also make a charge. 1, 2, 3. He would also suffer the damage from that one. So that's where he's at. He will also make an attack against this guy. He also hit. He also rolled 4 damage. Okay, it's down to 2 health. This guy could 1, 2, 3 charge and attack this thing. That is a miss. 11 defense, he rolled a 10. So, no dice there. This guy could also charge 1, 2, 3, 4. And roll a basic attack. He hits, and he definitely kills it. Okay, we got 1 kill in there. Okay, this guy can now charge. 1, 2, 3, but he will take 2 damage from moving within reach of this hook scuttler. And he'll attack the hook scuttler. We want to get rid of those. He missed. This guy, however, cannot charge. Because charge has to be in a straight line, and it's your whole movement action. So, I guess he'll go on a slow turn and just see how it happens. Okay. As for Malkalon, we do have line of sight on multiple things. We could throw out mines, but it's, I guess, mines are still pretty good. It's hard to argue. I mean, I'd have to position them somewhat nicely to avoid disaster. But 30-foot cube, 30-foot area on a side, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. That's this whole room. So I can put them anywhere in this room. I think probably that's the best way to go. Now, spell focus lets me charge it, but I don't think I actually want to do it. So we're just going to spend the 2 stress here. And we're going to throw down mines. Which are going to be these campfires again. So 5 of these mines. Remember, they explode in a 10-foot radius. So I'm going to put one... Oof. I'm going to put one here. I'm going to definitely put one here. I don't think I can put them... I don't know, maybe I can put them under a creature. So I guess we'll put one here. We'll put one there. I really don't want to clip any of my guys with this. I don't know. Some of these are going to go to waste, but that's fine. I want to avoid hitting anybody. But they do have to move. They very specifically have to move, and a couple of these creatures are not going to move. But there you go. There's the mines. And then this guy, slow turn, so that's all of us. The monsters are now going to go. We will do the hook scuttlers first. So this guy is not moving. He's just going to be biting this dude. So he gets +3 on the roll, 1d6 or 3 damage. However we want to do it. He definitely hits, so we'll do 3 damage. He actually rolled above 20, so 2 ongoing bleeding damage on this gentleman. So down to 11, and then I guess we can put on half heart. He's bleeding. We'll just put a 2 in there. That's right. It's 2, right? Yeah, it's 2. That's pretty rough. So that means someone else on their turn can spend an action within reach of him to just remove that. At the start of his turn, he will take 2 damage. And then he could spend an action to remove it. Or if no one spends an action, at the end of his turn, he'll get a strength challenge roll in an attempt to remove it automatically. Otherwise, it'll keep ticking by. Okay. So that's that. It was a good turn from that hook scuttler. Alright, this one's going to move forward. And obviously I'm going to trigger this mine. So 3 things potentially getting blowed up. So they get agility challenge rolls. I believe they all have... Well, the hook scuttlers actually have pretty good. +3. The Lady Hellbug has +1. So, let's roll for the triggering one. That is a success. He got a 10, so he takes half damage. The other one failed. He takes the full damage. And that Ladybug... Oh, no, there's a third hook scuttler there as well. Also succeeded for half. The Ladybug definitely failed. Okay. So the damage is 4. Okay, so this takes 2 damage. This takes 2 damage. This takes 4 damage, dropping it down to 26. And this takes 4 damage, dropping it down to 6. Okay. That's that. And then it's going to keep moving. And it moves up to this guy. So he deals 1 damage automatically to him. Actually comes within reach of a creature. Yeah, I mean, it would be both of them. This guy's getting beat the fuck up. Hook scuttlers are dangerous, man. And then he's going to try and make his attack roll. He definitely succeeded, over 20. So 3 damage to him and the 2 ongoing. And let me guess, they're not going to... Okay, there it is. Good. It's bad news bears, man. These guys are going to fucking flee. I'm going to have to finish this myself. Okay. This one will move here. So I'll trigger this mine. The hook scuttler... Well, both of these then would be affected, and the ladybug. So the first hook scuttler fails. The second one fails. The ladybug fails. They all fail. They all take 10 damage. Huzzah! Dead. Dead. 20 health. That was a good mine. Okay. This ladybug is not moving. And this one, obviously, I mean, you know, it's picking on the players for sure, but Toxic Blood is absolutely the right option here. So I don't know if we have an option to show... Oh, you do have a cone. Excellent. Yeah. Oh, look at that. 20-foot cone. Needless to say, I just wanted to know how far. Well, yeah, I didn't really need to do that. But it's gonna hit all 5 of these guys and Malkalon. who is visible through the doorway. So, yeah, not great for the crew. Everyone has to succeed on an agility challenge roll, or take 2d6 damage, becoming poisoned for 1 round. Okay, let's do Malkalon first. He has no bonus on the roll whatsoever. He fails. Then we'll just go top to bottom, left to right. They all have +1 on the roll. Fail. Success. Fail. Success. Success. Okay, so Malkalon and these two right here have failed. The others are going to just take 3 damage. Okay. 3 damage. 3 damage. 3 damage. Jesus. Oh no. Yes, okay. And then we all take 7 damage. This guy goes down to 1. He's pretty fucked. This guy goes to 3 with 2 ongoing. He's pretty fucked. And then Malkalon goes to 12 damage plus 4 stress. I very narrowly avoided death. I'm at 16. Fuck. I cannot cast any more spells. The only thing I can do is spell focus. I can cast a spell for free. But at this point, this is bad. I would be tempted to say this guy is just gonna... Oh, the other ladybug hasn't gone. I don't think it will toxic blood, but it does need to maneuver a bit. So it's gonna go here, and I'll trigger this mine. No, not that one. Oh god. If I trigger any of those mines, one of these guys is dying. They're probably dead anyways, but I don't want to be the one responsible. Even though it would likely kill this hook scuttler as well. Shit. Alright, sorry, dude. Sorry, dude. Okay, that mine. So the hook scuttler succeeds. The ladybug fails. And that guy succeeds. He's probably still dead. The damage is going to be 5. So this takes 5. Ladybug takes 5. This guy takes 2. 1 health. If someone comes in and removes it for him, like if this guy comes in and removes it, he'll be okay. But, oh god. Yeah, he's gonna like move here. And he's gonna slam this dude. So +5 with 1 boon. Almost certainly dead. Yep, definitely hit for 3d6. 8 damage, dead. And we lost one of the guys. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. That's all the monsters. This guy, I guess, will come in and then use his action to remove the bleeding here. I'm not sure how much good that does us. At this point, they probably would roll a will challenge roll. I guess the guys with 1 health certainly would. And then if those two both flee, probably the other 3 would also roll. So let's have those 2 roll. I think I gotta give them a Bane. Like, this is really dire for them. They're at 1 health. And their will is +1. So +1 with 1 Bane. 12 minus 3. 13 minus 3 is 10. So that guy succeeds. This other one definitely fails. So, at the start of this this guy is going to flee, which means that he leaves the hook scuttler's reach, unfortunately. So he takes the damage. Dying. Great. He tried to run, and the hooks just ripped at his flesh as he fled and collapsed on the ground as a bloody mess. It's not good. Not good at all. The hook scuttlers ended up being almost as big of a problem. Okay, Malkalon does not have much use here other than casting one more spell, so it needs to be a good. We could charge Drown. Or, yeah, I mean, I can't charge much. It has to be a level 1 spell or higher. So I guess Unerring Darts might be my best bet. It's a guaranteed 10 damage. It's probably the best thing I could do. Because all I need is 1 damage on this hook scuttler. And had I gone first before that guy fled, you know, I would have just killed this thing and it would have been fine. But that's the thing with fleeing, you know. He made an irrational choice in the moment. So, okay, we'll use our spell focus on Unerring Darts. So 10 darts, each dealing 1 damage. So this is dead. And then we'll do 5 here, bring it down to 16, and 4 here to bring it to 16. I don't know if it's a good idea to spread it out like that. Okay, fast actions. These two for sure. So this guy's going to attack the ladybug here. He's got +3 with 1 boon. 7, so 10 plus 6, 16. That is enough. 1d6 plus 2, 5 damage. Good, good, good. Okay. This guy's going to attack the other one. 6 plus 4, 10, miss. Only a 13. The other guy's 1, 2, 3, charge. That works for me. Although that is a Bane. And we actually do need the boon here. Otherwise, they're really tricky to hit. I don't think we'll be able to kill him. If I use charge to get Banes and stuff. I mean, it's just... It is a bummer, but it's probably better to just wait. So the other two are going to take slow turns. Which obviously is not good. I think both of the ladybugs probably going to... This one can't Toxic Blood. This one could. And there isn't much reason for it not to, other than, like, the DM being a dick. You know? I guess it depends on how these things are calculated, though. Is it from the center of their spot? Is it from a corner of their spot? So all I have to get is any part of the square and it's affected? I don't know. If it's a corner of their spot, I definitely can't do much. I don't know if that's mentioned anywhere. Yeah, because Shadow the Demon Lord doesn't really use grid too much. Oh, here you go. Origin point is always the intersection of 2 grid lines within range. the intersection of two grid lines within range. So I guess then I would just pick the intersection point, which would probably be here, and then, yeah, you could get everybody. Again, there's just not much reason for him not to do this. But if I were DMing and these were my players and this was the situation they were in, I probably wouldn't. Just because, like, them both using their slam is bad enough. You know, these players didn't flee. So it's bad enough situation. Dumping on even more with the toxic blood, which will likely kill all of them. Yeah, okay. So we'll just double slam. Starting with the bottom one here against this guy. 6, so that's 11 plus 3. That's a 14. That's actually a miss. And then this one, 6 plus 5 is 11. Plus 5 is 16. That is a hit. 3d6 damage. 15. He is obliterated. He is a fucking salsa on the floor. Okay, not great. I think that probably is going to prompt another will challenge roll now for these guys. We won't use a Bane. We'll just do straight up success for the bottom guy, success for the top guy. Okay, these guys are still committed. They think that this is doable, and they're right. It is. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's have these guys gang up here. So, the first hit is definitely a miss. The second one, 13 plus 3, is a hit for 6 damage. Down to 5 health. Okay, this is doable. Now you probably... This is where you might do a will challenge roll for the ladybugs. But they can't really go anywhere. I guess they could burst out the window or something and run away. But that only really matters when it's their turn. Right now, it is not their turn. It's a fresh round. So, Malkalon will magic dart this thing. It's an automatic hit, 1d3 plus 1. So that would be 4 damage. Very good. This guy is just going to attack. 10 plus 1, 11, so that's a miss. This guy's going to attack. 6, 9, also a miss. Yeah, I really would prefer to get this. These guys have crossbows or something, although he's in melee. It's not a good idea. Shit! I really needed to hit him. He's got 1 health left. One of you's gonna die now. Alright, the other guy is just gonna attack then. 13, 7, yeah, that's a hit for 8 damage. Good. It's a good solid hit. Okay, we all went. This one is gonna slam. Definitely a hit for, oh god, 2 6s and a 5. 17 damage. Obliterated! I didn't roll a will challenge roll. I'll roll it for this guy. His will was pretty shitty, I think. Oh, +1. Alright. He succeeds. He's fighting it out, but he's going to do his wing burst. Just so we can try all the moves. +5 with 1 boon against all creatures within 10 feet. Okay, so his roll is 15. That's already a hit. So 17, that's a hit. 2d6 damage. And they must succeed on a strength challenge roll or be knocked back. So 2d6 damage. We got 8. Neither of them are dead from that. Yep. Not looking great though, and they're probably going to be done after this if they survive. And then they need to do the strength challenge roll, so they have 13 strength, so +3, success, and success. They both managed to hold their ground. So now this thing's defense is lowered to 14 for 1 round. And we get a fresh round. Yeah, these guys are probably going to make will challenge rolls again with 1 Bane now, because it's looking really dire. That's a failure for the guy on the left and a failure for the guy on the right. So they're both going to try and flee immediately. I mean, yeah, that often can just result in your death due to opportunity attacks. But I think that's the whole point, is like that it's not a rational decision. You are just deciding you don't want anything to do here. And you're not going to, like, cautiously back your way out. Like, you are just running for your life and hoping you make it out. This thing only gets 1 opportunity attack, so this guy will go first. He's going to run. And this thing rolls a 3. Okay, so it misses its opportunity attack. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There you go. Technically, this thing has size 2, though. So it would have also been able to clip them. They would have had to just go around it a little bit. Okay, so that was their fast turn. Malkalon, oh god. He's got 1 health. I want to kill him, but if they're running, like, me standing here is pretty stupid. I do have a healing potion. I could drink that, but that would only give me 4 health back. Remove 4 damage. It's not much. Yeah, so I mean, I could absolutely kill the one. It would be dead, it would be done. But this thing would just, like, move up to here and then toxic blood to get all 3 of us. And then that would probably be it. So yeah, I think fuck it, live to fight another day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Then yeah, this thing will move up here. It can't go through the doorway. We already decided that. But it can shoot its toxic blood. So it shall. And they get to roll agility saving throws. Top guy fails. Bottom guy succeeds. Top guy takes 9 damage. And the bottom guy takes 4. So dead. Still alive. 2 health. Then this one just can't really do anything and just doesn't want to do anything. And then that's it. I think we both get out of there and we flee. Run for our lives together. Oof. Okay. So yeah, I mean, it's a little hard to balance, because most of the guys with me were just, you know, basically creatures. I mean, these are not player characters. These were difficulty 10 creatures. So that was 5 difficulty 10 creatures versus 2, you know, difficulty 25, although probably higher with that toxic blood and stuff, probably like 35. So we were outmatched. We were already weakened, and we only have 1 player character. It was a tough one. But the key thing to remember is that you often can just run away, rest and recoup, and you know, live to fight another day. Now, there's no way I'm convincing this guy to send another expedition. It's just not going to happen. So, you know, this was the opportunity. And that wasn't even like the big battle that I had planned for the basement. The basement was going to be like the big epic battle, so I put a little bit too much in there. Which is an important thing to remember when DMing, is that you can't just throw a bunch of big battles at your players. I mean, their resources will be drained. And then they might eventually just say, fuck this, and get out of there, and then never come back. So, you know, if you do have an epic confrontation in mind at the end of the dungeon, you kind of want to make sure that they get there. I mean, not necessarily, but if that's something that's important to you, or a plot line, or whatever, you know, keep that in mind. For us, it's not really that big of a deal. This was just another side mission I picked up, and I did get paid, I think. Because we're mercenaries, you have to pay them up front. So we got paid our 5 silver. Okay, so this guy, though, that we escaped with, I want to recruit him. I want to become buddies with this dude, and I want to make him a player character. So we actually have, you know, 2 characters to work with. So this was a valuable experience for him to grow, you know, as a human, as an adventurer, as a fighter, so all that stuff. And we'll make him into a level 1 warrior, probably. Just because it really helps me as a mage, as a wizard, to have some meat shield always in front of me. So, yeah, so we run back to town. We limp back to town. Both of us have 1... Yeah, I have 1 health, he has 2 health, basically. So, very narrowly cheated death, and we bond... We bond over our surviving. So we need a name for this guy. Let's go with Gerald. His name is Gerald. And I need to whip up just a quick sort of personality for this guy, motivation, things like that. Why is he selling himself out to go on these dangerous missions? So let's get a modifier here. He's pushy. I don't know what that really means in this context. He is uneducated. Well, that's a given. He's confident. That's a dangerous combination, but sure. He's pushy, he's uneducated, but he's confident. We don't need to roll his occupation, we already know that. And then his motivation, here we go. 9185. Attend communications. That's a tricky one to put together for a mercenary. Let's give that another shot. 6265. Accompany laziness. Okay. So he's married. His wife is a real layabout and just wants to be, you know, waited upon. She doesn't really do any work, so he has to take on these dangerous jobs just to provide for her, because he's, you know, he's a bit of a simpleton, but he loves her, you know. She drives him up a wall, but he loves her. Okay, so that's his motivation. So he's very glad now he gets to go home to his wife, who will just be laying on the couch. And he'll stumble in almost dead, and she'll just ask him what, you know, what he brought her back. Stuff like that. He deserves better, but that's what he's got. Okay, so there's Gerald. A bit of a hapless character. All right. So we need I have to find my. No, hold on. We could just hold on. I have to find my billable character sheet. There it is. Okay. Our character's name is Gerald. He is a human, of course. Nothing fancy there. And now he is becoming a warrior. Level 1. So I'm level 2, he'll be level 1. It's uncommon in modern RPGs. But in this case, for like a DM PC or something like that, it's not too ridiculous. Okay, so I mostly wanted to do this just because I wanted to make another character. Go through the process. Alright, so he's got 10 and everything. He can then choose 1 to increase by 1. So that'll be strength. He'll be a strength man. Then you have the option of decreasing 1 by 1 to increase another 1 by 1. So of course he's going to dump intellect. He has no use for such things. So now he's got 12 strength. I could see the argument of putting that into agility instead. His perception is going to be equal to his his intellect, 9, 1. His defense is equal to his agility, which is 10. His health is equal to his strength, and we will be changing these numbers in a second. His healing rate is 1/4 of that, so it's 3. Technically, he's at 11 damage right now. His size is 1. His speed is 30. He speaks Common. And one other language or a random profession. Now let's give him a profession of some dirty job that he took on to provide for his wife. Rat catcher. That's what he did. And he actually gets 2 other ones, but I'm not going to sweat it too much. I don't imagine he'll make many skill checks. He definitely has 5 silver in his pocket and like 2 copper. His wife let him have. Okay. And then he can take any one ability from any class of his choosing. But we need to grab the stuff for him being a warrior. Which is this. Okay, so he gets +6 health from warrior, so he's at 18. And this becomes... And you have to... I shouldn't put health first, because attributes can change strength, which does change your health. So he gets 2 to strength. Put it at 14. That's a little burly. I'm going to put that point from intellect into agility instead. So there you go. So he actually has 14 health plus 6, which is 20. Yeah, I want to emphasize he has no health left. Okay, so his heal rate then is 5. He can take any one military, common, or criminal profession. What's another shitty... What's a shitty military profession that no one would want? I don't know. I don't know anything about the military. slave. It's not much of a profession, man. I don't know what to tell you. He was a peasant conscript. What does that really provide for you? I don't know. Makes it look like two different things. Peasant conscript. Yeah, okay. And then he gets weapon training to start. So he makes his attack rolls with one boon, which is what he has been doing, so that's fine. I mean, he used to roll +3 with one boon. Now he's going to roll +4 with one boon. So he got bumped up a little bit for his attack rolls, but not a whole lot. Okay, but then he gets Mastery of War as his talent. So you get to pick one warrior talent from this list of 8, and they each of them get bonuses at level 4 and 8, and then at level 5 you get to pick a second talent. So this is the usual sort of D&D Pathfinder kind of fighter stuff. That you kind of just pick what you're focusing on, whether you're sword and shield, or two-handed weapon, or fighting with 2 weapons, or you want to be more defensive. The kind of warrior you want to be. So, yeah, honestly, again, for multi-class purposes, like picking Ranger and then dipping into Warrior to grab Swift Shot, not a bad move. Every turn, when you shoot your bow, you could use a triggered action to make a second shot with 2 Banes. For 1 level dip, it's not awful. And, unfortunately, the way that I've structured this, and I may end up changing this, but the way I've structured it right now, there's a lot of incentive to dip into another class for 1 level at least. Because you get the talent. And the talents all scale based on level, but usually the final, like, bonus that you get out of your talent is at level 9. So there's very little reason to not dip into another class for 1 level. Because level 10 doesn't really get you much. I think probably there should be one big, like, bonus at level 10. Because that's how Pathfinder does it, at least. If you stick with one class all the way to max level, you get, like, their, what are they, Paragon? I don't remember what they call it. So I may add that in, just to reward people and incentivize people to actually stick with the same class. So there's options. But anyways. Probably, I would say defense expertise helps this guy the most. He's kind of just there to be a meat shield. He's not going to use a heavy weapon. He could use a swift weapon. But yeah, it's mostly for sword and shield. You're really looking at defense expertise or shield bash. So we'll go with defense expertise for his talent. For +1 defense. So bumps him up to 12. I believe based on the rule book for Brigand, we'll just give him the gear that he was using. He's got a Brigandine, large shield, sword, and crossbow. A Brigandine, large shield, sword, crossbow. Okay. Brigandine gives him 13 defense, +1 from defense expertise is 14. So he actually lost. He lost a point of defense from his stat block. But he gained some health. It works out. It works out. Sort of. And then for his sword, pretty basic, just sword. Not a whole lot to talk about there. 1d6 plus 2, it's the same amount of damage. 6 plus 2, and the crossbow he can have, which is two-handed, 2d6 damage. Range long. Reload. Okay. That's kind of it for that. Okay, and then, so he gets one other ability that he can pick, and then he has adaptable from being a human, so he can take an ability from any class. So things that I would say are good. Oh, also his shield. I forgot about his shield. He'll actually have more defense. He's got a large shield. So, plus 2 defense from that. Yeah, he did gain defense. He's got 16 defense. He's sitting pretty. So things that I would say are good for him. Combat reaction is kind of nice. First round of combat, you can do a fast turn and move and take an action. Counter attack's pretty good. Shield Master would bump him up to 17 defense. And he can use trigger action to inflict banes on attacks. That's pretty damn good. Catch your breath once per day. You can just heal your healing rate. Not too bad. Combat prowess bumps up your damage a little bit. Critical hit gives you damage on attack rolls of 20 or higher. I actually have combat prowess listed twice here, so that's no good. Small mistakes. Well, okay, I need to replace that with something. Yeah, okay, I guess I had that before, too. Nobody pointed that out. I have a player playing as the warrior. Yeah, I don't know. Iron Will, I guess, throw in there. Okay. Actually, why would I throw Iron Will in there instead of Tough? Hold on, this should be Tough. To resist physical effects. Okay. So probably Shield Master is what I'm leaning towards. I guess we'll go with that. +1 defense with shield and triggered action or boon on enemy attack. Alright, so that bumps him up to 17 defense. Incredible. The thing is, it doesn't rise that much. I mean, he can get better armor. And defense expertise will eventually give him 2 more points. But he's probably not going to rise much above, like, 20. A little bit above 20. Which is pretty good. Certainly pretty good. He'll be tanky. But, again, anything that targets his intellect, will, agility directly, kind of fucked. Okay, so we can take any basic ability. I don't know if I specified that. Yeah, basic ability. From any class. I mean, there's a lot of things to choose from. Things like lucky, you know. Just once per encounter, you reroll any die before the outcome's determined. It's just kind of good for anybody. Any character can benefit from that. But will I remember? Or is it better to grab something that just, like, automatically helps me on my stat sheet, you know? Grabbing, like, an attack ability or something. I mean, generally, I guess you'd want to grab something that isn't available to your main class. That would be usually ideal. But I don't know. I mean, it's an easy way to just grab combat prowess as well. Do more damage. It's a lame choice, but also this guy's kind of a lame character. So I guess we'll just grab weapon training as well. Or combat prowess. 1d6 extra weapon damage. So now his sword does 2d6 plus 2. And his crossbow does 3d6. And you can take combat prowess as many times as you want. So if a character just sat here, got to level 10, took nothing but combat prowess, he would deal an extra 10d6 damage on all his weapon attacks. Yeah, I mean, I guess if that's the thing that you want to do, is just hit one target extremely hard without any extra, like, bonuses on the roll or whatever, yeah, I mean, go ahead. Why should I stop you? It's kind of a one-trick pony of just like, I'm either going to cut off this thing's head in one hit or I'm going to die. But, yeah, there you go. So there you have it. Okay, there's Gerald. I think he's done. I think we're all set. So, yeah, so we went back to town, and on the way we kind of commiserated, and he talked to me about his situation and his wife, and how he's always desperate for money and taking on rough jobs and things like that, but god damn it, he's gonna keep doing it because he loves her. And Malkalon suspects she has some sort of mind control spell on him or something, you know. It's like, what the fuck? But, you know, to each their own. I'm not gonna stop him. And so he obviously saw, you know, my capabilities in that situation. He saw me drop minefields and throw out all these darts and things like that. And he certainly credits me with at least his own survival, somewhat. So he's, I mean, he's not, like, beholden to me or anything like that. He's not swearing his life to me or anything. But he sees some potential in me as an ally, as a comrade. And Malkalon certainly can see now the benefit of having meat shields in front of him. So the two decide to kind of work together to see what else they can accomplish. Maybe some smarter, better jobs than this. So they're not even going to go back to Garando or whatever. They're not going to talk to him. Just let him assume that we all died. Fuck it. He's not going to give us any more money. He's not going to hire anybody else. So forever that shall remain. And I did, you know, I did have this map thrown down here for the basement. This was going to be like the occult basement. And the idea that I had was just like the big queen hellbug, you know, just like something out of the Zerg. Just everything's just like squirming and pulsating, and all these orifices opening and closing, and juices leaking out, and you know, hellbug larvae just swarming around the area and stuff. That was my idea, but fuck that. We're not going down there. So I probably should have just said, like, yeah, we find the basement stairs and we go down there, and then that was the big fight we did. But I couldn't resist having another encounter, I guess. The hell lady hellbug. That's okay. That's okay. So I'm sure that'll just continue to expand somewhat. And eventually, you know, they're gonna have to send in a proper militia or army or something to wipe them all and burn it all down. And then whatever was down in that basement of the occult will just be dealt with. I didn't really have anything concrete of what was going to be down there. I pictured just kind of like a tear in reality that was just emanating demonic energy and causing all these hellbugs to be mutated. But as for like what objects would be down there to bring back, I had no idea. We were going to just come up with that. Okay, so we need we need to rest. We need to rest more than anything else. So the thing is, we don't have to roll anymore. We just have our healing rate. And if you rest for 24 hours straight, you heal double your healing rate. So if we rest tonight and then all tomorrow, that's 3/4 of our max health. It's not quite full, but it'll be pretty close. So we're going to do that. Let's see. September 10th, we encountered lady hellbugs. Group got massacred. Only Malkalon and Gerald escaped their lives. September 11th. A good day to rest. Okay. So I'm going to heal 12 damage. And that's actually damage and stress. You healed it equally. I changed that. So I actually do heal to full. So that means that, yeah, if you have like equal amounts of damage and stress, that's where you get the most out of actually resting. But I think that's unlikely to actually line up. And damage can be healed through a lot of different effects, whereas stress can't really. So, yeah, it's unlikely to ever line up. But there you have it. And then Gerald will recover 15 health, 15 damage. So he'll be down to 4 damage. Not quite fully healed up. Yeah, not quite fully healed up, but I don't know. It's kind of an interesting system. You know, I think it's going to take just months and months of playtesting to see, like, does this really work? Is this a good system? But it's kind of interesting. Stress definitely limits your spell casting throughout the day, and taking damage on top of that really limits your spell casting for the day. But then I've made stress pretty easy to recover because it recovers just the same as damage like that overnight. But it's definitely based around a daily system, which is also true for the original Demon Lord spell casting. It's just I've kind of, yeah, just added some extra things to it to make it more interesting. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. So now September 12th comes around. Gerald and I, we team up at the tavern. I'll even buy him a drink. Spend a couple copper. I'll buy him and I a drink. And we're going to go over together and look at the bulletin board. See if we can't find something that suits our specific talents. Something that we could pull off and make a little bit of money. Because right now that's still our main motivation. It's just money. You know, Malkalon has his loftier goals, for sure. But right now, that's it. So okay, I need a quest. Now hold on. I've been using the Hero's Adventure book, but I wonder if there isn't. Surely there's got to be some like damn good. So there's Don John, which has a random adventure generator, and this comes up with everything. Okay, I'll show you this. So this is Don John, which has loads of different generators and tools and all that sort of stuff. Obviously for D&D and fantasy games in general, but there's even other things in there for like science fiction and stuff. So pretty much any generator you can think of. So this is the random adventure generator for a fantasy game. So if we just click this, we'll get a random list here. We've got an espionage theme, cloak and dagger. The goal is to retrieve an item, some sort of inanimate object. Story hook is a dying delivery. On some occasion, when the hero is out wandering the streets or is otherwise all alone, a dying man bumps into him, hands him something, says a few words, and dies. The plot, choose some sort of event, a tournament, holiday celebration called by the king, mass ball, or whatever. Set the commencement of the master villain's plan against that backdrop. Climax is a duel in the throne room. How the fuck? See, this is like so specific almost, whereas Hero's Adventure was really vague and I had to like piece it together. This is really just like doing a lot of the work for you of like, this is how it's going to start, this is how it's going to end, you know, these are the villains, this is the minor villain, this is your ally during the you know, stuff like that. I guess I'd probably prefer something in the middle somewhat, and you could take this and just take the parts that I like, the idea of retrieving an item and involves some sort of event like a tournament or a celebration. But then you have the general setting of on the sea. Most of the action occurs on the sea. This is an insanely big adventure, man. Some sort of demi-human community at a church, and the master villain is a spy. And you have two minor villains. Two minor villains. Look at this. Death trap, chase scene, secret weakness of the master villain. The master villain might be sufficiently unfamiliar with this world that he essentially defeats himself by making incorrect guesses about human behavior. It's like, good God, dude. I guess if I was the type of DM that wanted to sit down, you know, a week ahead of the session and be like, okay, this is the adventure my players are going to go on this week. They're going to get bumped into by this dying man. You know, one of the players, he's going to hand him this little note, and then he's going to die. And that's going to set up this sequence of events in motion, you know, where they have to go out to sea, and there's like this holiday, and they get to this community of elves in the forest. So it's like, okay, how do I piece all this together? And I'm gonna map all this out, and it's like, that's not how I DM, man. My DMing style is certainly much closer to the Heroes of Adventure. Just roll a couple words and I'll piece it together. So I don't think this really is of much benefit to me. Encounter old villain. Okay, hold on. I gotta keep looking. Yeah, Here's the basic template. A type NPC approaches the party and asks that they verb the sort subject before deadline. In return, they promise to grant reward as payment. That's like the very basic template that you can then just roll on this table to slot in different words. Okay, hold on. Let's roll on this table. Let's see the little combination we get. Okay, so the type. An imperious. An imperious noble, of course, yes. An imperious noble approaches the party and asks that they bury the undying monster before morning 1d6 sunrises from now. In return, they promise to grant a firstborn child as payment. What the fuck? It's just Mad Libs for D&D quests. It's stupid. Oh my god. A firstborn child. Why would that ever be a reward for anything? That's ridiculous. Oh, but now I kind of want to give my players just someone's firstborn child. I mean, what? Oh, god. I mean, it depends, I guess, on the players and the characters, what they would do with it. I feel like most people would just, like, abandon it in an alley or try and sell it. Probably try and sell it to somebody. Oh, gosh. Okay, hold on. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, people have obviously been doing this for years. Where they just have tables that you roll on to just come up randomly with some stuff. It's certainly not a new idea or anything. But is there a really good one? I don't know. Honestly, the Heroes of Adventure one is not bad. I mean, we've come up with some good little adventures out of it. And some good little quests. I can't complain about it too much. Okay, so this is from the Lazy DM's Companion. I mean, there's a lot of tables in here for sure. This is the core adventure generator. Okay, let's try rolling on this then. This is what we're doing now. This is our session. Okay, so we've got the person hiring you. Because we're looking at a bulletin board, but someone could come along while we're looking and say, oh, you're looking for adventure. You're looking to do some work. Okay, so we got a reserved elf. Okay, that's fair enough. The quest that they want is to kill a villain. All right. Hey, you're looking for work? How about you kill somebody for me? The location is a castle. This is already getting way above our pay grade, man. The condition of the location or description. It's a necrotic castle. It's a forgotten castle. That makes more sense. It's a forgotten castle. Someone is in there that needs to die. This is a vampire, isn't it? We can't kill a vampire, dude. It's not gonna happen. This is just a sample of the book that they have online. So I don't think I get all the pages here. This generator is set up for characters of 1st to 4th level. Okay, so we didn't really get like a... We didn't get told what the villain is. So I don't know how useful this is. But I guess you could roll on dungeon monsters. It's a... No, that doesn't make any sense. No, that doesn't make any... No, I don't know what to... Okay. Maybe if I had the full book, it would be really useful. Possibly. I mean, it doesn't seem too bad. And I guess if you boil down all your side quests to these 20 types of things, which is basically what Heroes of Adventure did. Alright, hold on. Let's roll on Heroes of Adventure then, just because we've given all these other ones a try. We owe it to Heroes of Adventure to see what it can come up for us. There's also Worlds Without Number, which could be good. I don't think we really looked at their quest generator. Okay, hold on. So this is Worlds Without Number. I don't know where the... I don't know if they have quest generator. You'd think they would, but maybe not. You'd think it would be under creating adventures, but I guess not. Probably means they don't have an adventure generator. Oh well. Heroes of Adventure sure does. Quests. Okay, let's roll. 4d20. We've got Reach or Infiltrate. A returning person. The theme is buried or flooded. The complication is environmental issue. I guess that's really just as nonsensical as the other ones. Reach a returning person in a flooded location with environmental issues. A returning person in a... What is a returning person even? Well, a returning person in this context means that a person we've encountered before, I guess. Or a person that we are familiar with. Maybe we've never met them, but we're familiar with them. I think. What else would it really mean? I think it's dumb. Let's try rolling again. Okay. No, not that. Okay. Stop or delay. A rumored person. The theme is infested or lair. And the complication is an opposing faction. It's like kind of just as much nonsense, really. It's a lot of work to like think this through, and I suppose that's where Donjon sort of helps you by just supplying a lot of text and just like putting ideas out there and kind of how it pieces together. But it's like a bunch of pieces. It's without the glue. You know, this is like no glue and just a couple pieces. So, yeah, I mean, I guess Donjon sort of works better. I think the subject part is really the thing that always throws me off. of just like, I just can't think of what a rumored person is or a returning person is. Like, it's just too vague. Whereas, like, a lot of these quest generators are more like, oh, there's these were rats that are haunting or infesting this area, and you're sent to kill, you know, and it's like, okay, it's pretty straightforward. I get it. Yeah, it's not very flexible, but I get it. Kill or assassinate a known person in the wilderness. The complication is there's an opposing faction. I mean, I guess a known person that's part of the opposing faction in the wilderness. You want me to just, like, kill the leader of the Centaur here or something, you know? Or the chieftain of the goblins. There you go. I mean, that's a quest. Because that's a known person, that goblin chieftain that we've encountered in the quarry. Maybe they're getting a little too big for their britches and someone wants them dead. They want to scatter the goblins. I don't know why that would be on the bulletin board instead of just through the military, the government. But yeah, maybe the government's just, you know, preoccupied. That's always my excuse in this setting of why there's not more guards and military around. It's just they're all preoccupied with the war. It's a good excuse. Okay, so they want us to kill the chieftain. And they're willing to pay a certain amount of money. Now, money's always kind of lame, though, isn't it? I mean, that's obviously what we want, but also lame. Yeah, Shadow Demon Lord just has like a treasure limit. You don't want to give more than 5 gold throughout a whole adventure. But it doesn't really have like tables. It just says, hey, maybe you want to give them jewelry or bars of iron or livestock. And it's like, okay, I guess the reward could be 2 cows. But what am I really going to do with the cows other than just sell them? So why don't we all just skip a step? And you just give me money. I mean, I get certain groups, certain players, you give them like 5 goats as a reward. And maybe they'll start a goat farm or do something weird with the goats. And by weird, I mean in a... You know. But... I don't know. Usually it's just gonna resolve into money anyways. So, let's say they're offering 2 gold pieces. Now, that seems kind of low, doesn't it? To kill a goblin chieftain? I guess that's more money than these guys will ever make. If you go to the section on... And I know we're playing Shadow's Adventure, but all I do is go through the Shadow of the Demon Lord book. I'm aware. So if you go to the wealth table, this is what you actually roll on when you make a character normally. And I have not got... Well, I've yet to make a brand new character that I need to decide equipment on and money and stuff. So I'll probably end up utilizing this or something else. So yeah, you just roll 3d6. And so most likely you're going to be getting by as a result. And that means you start with 1d6 copper pieces. So the average person, you might say, in the average village probably has like a couple copper on them. I don't know. Well, I don't know. Actually, that's a good question, because what was the cost of a hireling? Like the basic order. They make 5 copper per week. So I guess we're going with the average laborer makes like less than a copper a day. But in our game, we only have copper as the lowest. So let's say a copper a day. Okay. The average person makes 1 copper per day. It seems both low and high. Somehow, paradoxically. Because if we look at food and accommodations, it costs 1 copper per night in a inn, you know, and that probably doesn't get you like, that gets you in the common room, I guess. So maybe that's not absurd, but then like a pint of ale is 2 bits, and that's, yeah, I mean, it does kind of benefit us to have bits as a system, even though I don't want to. When you really break down the economy, like having copper as the lowest form wouldn't work with the way prices are. That's what happens when you just take half an economy from an RPG and leave the other half. Yeah, so okay, but you figure for 1 copper a day, an average guy could go into the tavern, have a couple pints of ale, and a light meal, and still have money left over for the day. And that's like, you know, he wouldn't do that every day, because most of the time these people are living shitty lives. They're eating just like gruel. Yeah, they're drinking water and whatever, you know, cheap swill, stuff like that. I don't know. I guess maybe it works out okay. What was the point of all this? What am I talking about? Oh, we were trying to think of how much to pay us for killing the Goblin Chieftain. Yeah, okay. I guess, like, 4 gold is quite a lot. 4 gold is 40 silver, which is 400 copper. So it's basically like you would earn your year's salary if you managed to kill this Goblin Chieftain, which is a lot of money, but most people wouldn't even think of like trying to do it because it would be suicide. Yeah, I guess let's go with that. The question is, who's paying for this? Let's just say it's a consortium of merchants in Awbridge. It's a GoFundMe. It's a GoFundMe account to kill the Goblin Chieftain because they're raiding, you know, merchants' caravans and stuff. So the merchants have gathered together funds and they're willing to put in 4 gold total. That's what it is. Okay. So, Alcalon and Gerald see this, and they have to decide, do they think they can kill the Goblin Chieftain? Oh, boy. The thing is, it's like, almost certainly, like the fact, yeah, almost certainly, right? I mean, this is kind of meta. I agree, this is kind of meta. But hold on, actually I might have stats for like a goblin bigwig or something. Hold on. Goblin. Okay, goblin curse spitter, spine cleaver, underboss. Oh no, and then I have the war spider. So I don't have a big goblin chieftain. You could use the underboss, I guess. Because this isn't like a huge group of goblins. So maybe they kind of answer to some other bigger group of goblins. But the underboss here is who they want dead. It's kind of easy, to be honest. But, right, okay. This guy has 30 health. That means that I could spend 6 stress across 2 actions and guarantee that he's dead. Because I can empower for triple the stress cost unerring darts, which will do 15 damage to whatever I want. And then, so say I do that, I see him out in the quarry, I snipe him, and then, you know, combat starts. And then I get a fast turn, I do it again for another 15 damage. He's dead. Right? He's fucking dead. And then that would be it. Now, I don't know how much proof they want, if we have to, like, bring back his head, because that would complicate things quite a bit. Actually, let's enforce that. Let's fucking enforce that right now. I'm gonna cut off my own cheese, so to speak. And I'm gonna say that the consortium will only pay out once you deliver the head. And they've seen the chieftain. They've got eyewitness accounts, you know, they've got sketches of him. So they know what he looks like. You have to bring back his fucking head. So that, I mean, yeah, I can still snipe him then and kill him, but... getting his head will be trickier. Can we do it? We had numbers, right? Last time we did this? Didn't we say there's like a total of 42 goblins there? I can't remember all the specific numbers we had. I know I said like 10 of them were out at any given time. Yeah, something like that. So 30 of them, so 10 of them at least were combatants. Probably double that are combatants. 20. Say 20 goblins, you know, standard goblins or lackeys or whatever. And then there's the witch doctor, and then there's the underboss, the chieftain, and then the other 20 are women and children. And that's not to say the women are defenseless. Like, they could grab a knife or a shiv or something and still ruin your day, stab you in the dick or something. But as far as ones that are going to be ready for war, 20 plus the 2. That's quite a lot. That's quite a lot. It would require some very good use of mines, I think. When we charged mines, I think all I did was just make it a 60-foot cube I could put 10 mines into, right? Did I bump up the damage? Maybe I did. But I think we had this discussion where I said I want it to just be as if you had cast it twice. So then all that would really... it would be as if you cast it twice. Yeah, the damage wouldn't go up. But it's kind of weird, because that's why this game will never get published. That system is way too fuzzy and way too just like GM fiat kind of stuff. I'm just like, no, I don't like that. I think it should be like this. Because, I mean, that sort of as if you cast it twice doesn't make sense if I charge Inevitable Blade. Because then that would do nothing, really. But really, what I would do if I charged Inevitable Blade was probably just bump up the damage. That's really the only, like, numerical thing other than the duration. So I guess you could just double the duration, but that's not very interesting. But then, unerring darts, I basically just double or triple the number of darts. That's as if you cast it twice or 3 times. But then drown does 1d6 plus 2 damage. I'd make it 2d6 plus 2. That's not just... I mean, it's sort of as if you cast it twice. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But anyways, say we empowered our mind spell and we could drop down 15 minds. In the case of we don't change the radius of explosion or the damage, there really wouldn't be any benefit to us empowering it as opposed to just casting it 3 times normally. Yeah, I think the damage probably does go up. We're just going to go ahead and rule it. So you get 5 minds dealing 2d6, 10 minds that deal 4d6, or 15 minds that deal 66. So 15 minds dealing 66 damage. The average on 66 is like 20-ish, 21, 22, something like that. So that would pretty easily mop up any lackeys that were in there, snipers, even spine cleavers probably, assassins. Honestly, that would do some fine work. But that's assuming that they all kind of just rush out, and I think a lot of them would. But then we have to deal with whatever's left over. And I think at a certain point, after the initial, like, group runs into the minefield and they all explode horrifically, the rest of them would be like, okay, fuck that. And then they would just start, like, climbing the cliff walls. And so outside of mines, I mean, how much do I really have? How much can I really cast here? Most of my stuff is going to be magic darts for, like, 3 damage. And then we got Gerald, who is tanky, but no one's that tanky. It's tricky. It's possible, but I have to wipe out the entire camp, basically. Or I have to, like, I'd have to... Yeah, I mean, maybe if we kill enough with the mines, and I'm just, like, sniping them, and we kill the chieftain, they might just be like, holy shit, fuck this. And they might just climb the walls and run out of there. It's possible. With some, you know, with a morale roll or something. And 4 gold would be a very nice sum. We could do some good things with that. Because then with 4 gold, we could actually buy, like, horses, a wagon. You know, we could actually travel then. I could get some parchment. I can actually start writing the encyclopedia. That could really get me and Gerald on the road. And we'll probably have to take his shit wife with us. But, you know. I guess that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take on this job and kill the chieftain. This is revenge for all the failures we've had against the... Well... Actually, we have yet to succeed in almost anything. The only thing we succeeded on was finding the manse and bringing back the map. We got paid for that, and that's it. Everything else has been just abject failure. So, how is this mission gonna go? Probably not great. So, let me just see real quick. I wonder if I can find a map for a... Oh, yeah. You search D&D noun map of, like, any type of location possible. You're gonna just find just, like, dozens of maps that people have made. That just perfectly fit the bill. And then you can throw it right into Roll20 or whatever. Okay, so this is another Patreon. Daniel's Maps. There you go. There's a quarry. Done. You know, and now we have the quarry. Although this isn't quite, you know, obviously I said there was going to be water at the bottom. So this isn't quite what I would want, but you could just turn this bottom section into water, and that would be pretty much good enough. It's a little narrow, but I guess quarries probably are pretty narrow. Let me just see if I can find anything that might fit the bill better. Okay, that one's pretty interesting. That's kind of cool. That's not what I was picturing, but that is a cool map. Okay, I'll show you this one real quick. So this is a paid map, so I can't grab it. But here, I'll just show you. So this is on 2minutetabletop.com. There you go. That's pretty cool. I don't know if the goblins would be that industrious to actually build all these wooden platforms above the water and stuff. And this one certainly isn't like as layered and deep as I imagined. But I also kind of really like it. And there's plenty of room here for like the goblin camps that they could just be living in. So this might be the map that I go with. I might buy that one and use it. But yeah, alright. We're gonna wrap it up here. I know, we haven't really... I mean, I feel like this basically every session of my solo game, that we didn't really accomplish much. But truth be told, like playing with my family after 3 hours in a session, they don't really accomplish much either. It's just I'm used to playing with a DM and I get a lot of stuff done normally. Because things keep rolling along and I don't have to think of it, and he's good at thinking of things and yada yada yada. And then we spend a lot of time here just like looking at rule books and thinking of rule options and blah blah blah. But that's alright. So yeah, so we'll pick it up next time then. Malkalon and Gerald heading to this quarry to hopefully slay the goblin chieftain, scatter the goblins, and collect his head. Not gonna be easy, that's for damn sure. But if you think about, like, it's hard to say. I might have to put down a couple minefields. But if all the goblins are in this section right here, to the west of the water, and we go up on this ridge, and we start just raining down fire on them, and just snipe them with magic dart over and over, they're probably going to split up. Half are going to go this way, up this ramp, and then half of them might go up this way, over this way. So I probably have to do a couple minefields. The real issue is that I have no escape plan. I have no way out if things go awry. Yeah, I have nothing. I have to just like run and throw down mines behind me or something, but I only have so much stress, so it's kind of risky. So we really have to kind of rely on shock and awe here. Yeah, I don't know. And it's funny because it's a really, really poor strategic position for their camp. But that's the thing, they're kind of dumb. They're pretty dumb. So, like, they just don't care, or they don't realize, or whatever. They're just like, yeah, this is a good spot, we'll camp here. But it's really not a great spot. So, like, we have the advantage of being above them and raining down whatever we want, but there isn't much I can rain down at level 2. Even purchasing stuff. I could put my money into I like Alchemist Fire or something. Hold on, I have a yeah, Alchemist Fire, 4 silver for a flask. So I could buy like 1 or 2 of those if we really wanted. And that would set things alight. But I'd be better off buying just a shit ton of caltrops. Maybe I'll spend some money on that, buy some caltrops, and then sort of set up an area that I can kind of maneuver through when I need to back up, when they start coming up and make it past, and then they go through the caltrop field. Caltrops mixed with ball bearings. Yeah, I mean, it's an idea. I don't know. It's going to be wild. It could very well be the death of both Malkalon and Gerald. But that's, you know, that's the risk you got to take. We got to get paid, man. All right. I think that's enough out of me. So, my name is Mang. This has been Solo Roll Manging. And I will see you fine folks next week.